Hey y'all. Okay, so I'm hoping that you can hear me okay. We're going to talk about One Book July a little bit. We're going to talk about quite a few things. I am cleaning up my space right now to make room for my computer, my new to me iMac that will be in. Haven't done very much with my desk, but I have been cleaning my table back here. Not that you can really tell, but I've rearranged some things. I still have to clean out my closet, but I'm gonna do that I think this evening, because I've got a mess in my room. I've got a really big mess in my room. But I thought we'd just talk about a few things, and what I'm actually, part of what I'm actually doing for One Book July, I've realized it's already changed and it's only the 1st of July. But cleaning out some of my stuff and doing this week, the planning in the A5, has made me think. It's made me think. So I'm gonna let just a few more people get in here, and then we're gonna go to the planner part, and there, I think you can see that a little bit better. The only thing about these lights, because I've got to switch and move my ring light, is that it really makes my face like super bright. So there we go. I think that's a little bit better. Let's tone this down a little so you can. There we go. Hey. Yeah, that's exactly why we do One Book July. And I have a video to upload to Patreon. They're gonna get much more of this, but I can't upload it while I'm going live, and it's gonna storm here. I've got gray clouds. I've already heard a little bit of thunder, and I'm running a tiny bit late, but I had to wait until the video finished rendering and saving. Otherwise my desktop would not have worked very well at all. It would have been buffering like crazy, which is one of the reasons why I'm getting a new to me iMac. My computer is going to go to, as soon as I learn how to use the iMac proficiently enough to edit videos, I'm taking my Windows desktop to the computer place to get it maintenanced and fixed, so it's faster. But I have been doing pretty well. This was Monday, this was Tuesday, this is today in my bullet journal. And then we get to here, which is the Stology, which is the second part of the bullet journal system. And this was my July, where I just kind of figured things out a little bit. This is something I'm going to do for a chat for y'all. And this was my Hello to July, where I was writing down a few things. I realized something after doing this. Jen had requested a short-haired mermaid, so I did that, and I love how this turned out. These are all the metallic watercolors, not every single one of them. You should have just started a new bullet journal, your own planner number 3. But so far, I've been doing a few things. Like, I haven't done the desk, but I almost finished the table, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark that off. And this starts, I will be filling this in today, my tracker stuff. And other than that, I haven't really done anything else. Let me make sure I'm in frame here. I did redo the mermaids. I do need to do this we've been having storms every afternoon, and afternoon is usually when I'm, I can do I guess I'm gonna have to start doing lives kind of earlier in the mornings, maybe. But what I've been thinking, because I want to get better at project planning, is that maybe since I've already got this set up for July, I can do some of the stuff in here. I can write my projects out in this. But thinking about making this the project planning, keeping this as my collections and stuff like that. Because I do need more space when I write out something. But I'm going to keep doing it for this week. I want to give it at least a whole week, before I definitely decide what I'm doing. I had an idea about something. It's been a long while since I did everything in one book. Planning, bullet journaling, sketching, that kind of thing. And it is one book July. Now, my sketchbook is going pretty well. What did I do with my sketchbook? I did the supplies. And so today would be where I actually do a watercolor prompt, or from World Watercolor Month, or I do something from my day. And I changed my mind. Was going to use this for the creative journal, but I already have one that I've already been writing in, and that is the messy one. So I'm just going to continue with the messy one, which is here. Victor did that when we were at Starbucks one day. I did that. I want to say that might have been a Rose class. This is the introduction. This was me mind mapping. And this is supply stuff. So, weeks is your main planner. You don't have to recreate in your bujo. That is where you want to put everything and not have stuff in several notebooks. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm thinking seriously about doing the Traveler's Notebook thing. If this having two notebooks in one doesn't work. It's been almost 3 years since I used A5 for this kind of thing on a regular basis. And I think I've gotten so used to B6 standard or B6 or standard, that I just don't know. And B6 Slim too. I don't know. I really don't know, y'all. But that's the part of One Book July to me that is the good part. So now I'm going to cut these lights off and I'm going to switch back to my face. Because this is more of a chat than it is going to be showing stuff. I'm going to actually chat about One Book July. And these lights on my face are not going to be productive to me talking. I have a window in front of me, so let me make sure that it's transition. There's just a lag with OBS. Okay. I think the purpose of One Book July originally was to get back to basics. And my basics, a B6 is headed your way. All right. Yay. I love B6 and I love standard. Like, I love standard for bullet journaling and for on the go. I love B6 for the same reason. I have realized that I am just a huge fan of those two sizes. I love the A5 for text journaling and for figuring out projects and But there's a lot of real estate on an A5 page for bullet journaling. I don't need all that because I don't like if my page stops at a fourth of the way down, if I don't have anything else, I'm going to fill it with stuff because I don't like putting the date underneath there, really. I can do it, but I don't really like it. And maybe that's just me. I'm so excited about my stuff that's coming in. You know more about what I'm going to be switching to than even my patrons know. I love Etsy, y'all. I love supporting artists, other artists. I love supporting mom and pop stores. I love supporting handmade goods. Y'all, my wedding ring is sterling silver. I have a white gold one that was passed down to me that my real father gave my mother. It's older than I am. But I don't wear it all the time because I mess with so much stuff, glue and everything. I quit wearing it all the time because it was getting really dirty and I don't want to mess it up, and I'm scared I'll knock the diamond out of it or diamonds out of it. But these are I can't think of what they're called now. Swarovski crystals, or they're the really expensive but not real not like real expensive like diamonds. But I don't like how diamonds get here, you know. I'm fine with lab created. I used to work at Zales. I was an assistant manager. I know what the markup is on jewelry. You're a bit late. Well, that's okay. Yes, supporting small businesses. I know some people take issue with Etsy because they charge a lot, and a lot of people want to do their own websites. I'm all for that too. You know, Bree switched from Etsy to her own website, and I have ordered from her quite a few times. But I'm all about supporting other artists. And one of the things that I was thinking about is when One Book July, I was thinking about it over the weekend. Monday and Tuesday, I'm in this A5 and I'm trying to get things going with it. I'm trying to work on, you know, my stuff and the planning part of the bullet journaling. And they're different. I mean, planning... Okay, let me backtrack for just a minute. I am about to turn 53. And when I was in school, we didn't have any of those. They didn't give us little planners. Now, when my kids were in school, they got these little planners, you know. But when I was in school, we didn't have them. But we did happen to, like, sell... Sometimes they'd have these things and you'd sell these little pocket planners. And they, you know, they fit in your little purse. It's about the size of a B6 Slim or Personal. And what would happen is, you know, we would sell them. I would end up with one or two of them. My mom would buy a couple of them. And sometimes we sold them through the church youth group. Sometimes we sold them through the school, through different things. So that's how I learned how to plan, like calendars. I had a calendar, had a little pocket planner in one of those little clear plasticky things, and you know, the outside of it had like a nature scene or a cat or a dog or something on it, and then the inside was just a calendar for every month, a calendar on 2 pages. And well, that and post-it notes or a legal notepad or a steno pad or a notebook or index cards, whatever I had on hand that I made running to-do list. When you order a lot from Etsy, you know that the artists have to pay them, but using Etsy I discover a lot of artists that I wouldn't find on the internet. Yeah. So like if I'm following somebody and they have an Etsy shop and then they switch to a website, I followed that. But I learn a lot about what other people do. I don't do a lot of reviews. I laughed my ass off last night watching Talks from the Heart when she was talking about how she's like she's sitting down over a cup of coffee and she's showing you what she's got, and you're like, ooh, what's that? Where'd you get it from? Oh, I like that. That's the kind of reviewer I am too. Now I can tell you some things about it. I'll tell you whether I like it or I don't like it, if I love it. It's the same with books, you know. John Rush does the absolute best reviews of anybody I have ever seen on YouTube. If you want to watch a review of something, John Rush is the person. If he does a review of something, you can bet your bottom dollar that it's going to be a great review. I love John's reviews. Not my thing. I know I suck at it. I tell you if I like it, like with Rachel Beth Designs watercolors. I've been getting her watercolors on and off. My very first set were the ones that smelled like coffee, and I got them in the whole pans. I still use those watercolors. And I got those from Etsy. She now has a website. I've gotten handmade watercolors from a couple of other places, and if I favorite you on Etsy, that's usually because I've gotten stuff from you, and I try to do reviews. I have a bunch of reviews I need to do right now on Etsy, as a matter of fact. But I have been waiting. I try to do it. Either I do it because it came in. John is your go-to, yes. I had a snack. I got a peach, and I had a green smoothie, and that was my snack. I love all of John. John is one of my favorite people. Just like Bree too, and actually all our ladies from One Book July, all of our hosts, I should say. But Talks from the Heart, I like watching her videos because she does make me feel like I'm sitting down with her and having a cup of coffee and just sitting with her and going over journaling stuff. And that's what I have been trying to do with mine for a long time. I happen to have severe anxiety though, and I am more of a behind the camera person. But you can't be behind the camera and connect with somebody as much when you're doing it that way. Like if it's just your hands, when it's your face. Maple flavor of a cold brew. So, for planning. Oh, you're welcome, John. I didn't even know you were here, but you're very welcome. You're very welcome. As somebody who is a patron and somebody who's on Patreon, I didn't think about the taxes thing, and Ro went in and did all kinds of admin work, and I don't even know if I need to do that. I don't have a dollar tier anymore because of the taxes thing. But I don't have any extra bits for mine. I think I just have videos. Like if I give you PDFs, I'm just giving PDFs to all my patrons. It's not something that a specific tier gets. It's just for anybody. That's how you feel watching my videos. That's how I want everybody to feel. I could do where I grabbed my legs. You see me bouncing. That's anxiety. I'm a fidgeter. I have ADHD and I have anxiety. But, so some of it I can control and some of it I can't. But because I choose not to take medicine because of the side effects, I have to deal with it. And unfortunately, some of y'all have to deal with it because you're seeing me bounce and I ramble. When it comes to planning, I've been planning with a running to-do list and a calendar for forever. When I found out about the bullet journal system, actually let me backtrack a little bit more. When I fell into the planner and the journal community on YouTube, when I fell down the rabbit hole, I tried everything from a Filofax to a, what's her name? Something Press. Tried that. I tried... Oh, thank you. What is it? Press. Something Press. And she started out with the ones you punch the holes in, like in a ring-bound planner. She went to something else. I've tried Erin Condren. I've tried all kinds of different things, y'all. And I always end up back with a calendar and a to-do list. Now, when I found out about Ryder Carroll's bullet journal method, and I'm so glad we did that last year, I realized, yes, Miss Sylvia, she does really good reviews too, y'all. If you want to check out some kind of stationery stuff, especially TNs and notebooks and stuff. Inkwell Press, yes, thank you, John. I tried that one. I tried the one that's from The Secret, or the... Nope, not The Secret. The other... It's called The Other Thing. I have the book over there. I'm not turning around to find out the name of it. The Law of Attraction. I tried the Law of Attraction planner. I think the only one I haven't tried is the Passion Planner when it comes to some of the more popular ones. I tried the Hobonichi Weeks. I tried the Hobonichi Techo Original. I love the Hobonichi A5, the cousin. But I don't really use the weekly enough to warrant it. Now, I love the daily, the day free. But when will Hobonichi come out with a B6? When will Hobonichi come out with a B6? If y'all want reviews, I'm not the person. I'll just tell you I love it. I like it. It's so-so. Or I don't like it at all. You know? I mean, that's the truth. And I've noticed that I change up things a lot. Sylvia, you are not alone, honey. You are not alone. But I think I change up things a lot because I get distracted so easily that sometimes changing up things helps me keep from being distracted. The Passion Planner is the one you're trying for July. Let me know how you like it. I know Dawn from Enthusiastically Dawn has been using the Passion Planner like I think all year, and she's loving it. But it's too big for me. That's just too big for me. I'm not a big fan of rings. I'm not a big fan of coil. I have the Erin Condren Wonder Woman Deluxe Monthly, and it's more for me to keep track of YouTube and Patreon and stuff. I go back in and put stuff in, or I plan stuff out in it. Now, I'm going to be going back in July because there's just too much stuff because I'm trying a bunch of different things. Yes, you found your people. But I'm a writer. I'm an artist, a journaler, a DIYer, a mom, a grandma, a wife. I'm doing all these things, you know. I have to keep up with all these things. And I need a Grand Central Station. And now that my daughter may have a job, we don't know if it's going to be long term or just for a while. But if she does do that, then I'm going to have the kids at least 2 days a week. And, you know, I'm just like, I'm going to have to get more organized. So getting the iMac is going to help because it will help me with this editing of videos, and I will be able to do more stuff. This Windows computer that David's friend put together for me, he built. He had one too many Budweisers, I think, because two of my USB ports don't work, and neither the back nor the front for my headphones, the jack things, they don't work. So, you know, I got my big blue, this is huge. I thought I was getting the smaller one. I got the bigger one. But that's okay. It works. But planning, all I have to have is a pen, a calendar, and some paper. I'd rather have all my paper in one place. That would be much more organized. I'd stay much more organized. So right now, the A5 is just so much. I didn't plan on doing a bunch of decorating in this A5 bullet journal, but because I have so much room left, I'm doing decorating, and that's not what I planned on doing. So I don't know that the A5 is going to work for bullet journaling for me anymore. I don't think A5 is going to work for me for my art journaling really anymore either. It's just so much space, y'all. It's just so much space. Bree used to tell me that when she went a long time ago on her channel, she was using the Hobonichi Cousin. She ended up going down to B6. From B6, I think she went down to the bigger size field notes, or no, she went to A6. And then from A6, I think she's gone down to like field notes for some. You have a word for it. It's called clutterize. Keep organizing my clutter, but not getting it cleared out and gone. Yes. Creative chaos. Creative clutter. My husband would tell you that that's me. I have stuff in almost every room in the house. Like I leave a little trail. What size is my everyday carry? It's an A6. I have a weeks and an A6 in my purse. So yeah, that's the weeks is for like self-care. It's supposed to be for self-care. It's supposed to be for doctor's appointments and my personal stuff, like my weight loss and my exercise. But COVID-19 hit, the Rona, and I really haven't done shit in that thing. I think I've done like 3 things in it. I've been in it 3 times. 3 times. I had all these plans for January, and I was doing really well until mid to the end of March. Right, like the third week of March or so. That's my anxiety started kicking in because of the Rona. And the more it kicked in, and the more it kicked in, and the more it kicked in, the worse. I felt like chunking everything in a box and then not opening it back up until, you know. So, see, I'm the opposite. Like, I used to be an A5 person, but wanted an A6 for sort of an everyday carry, because I don't really go a whole lot of places. But you know, the funny thing, you're stuck on personal rings or field note TN. I'm not a ring person, so I'm the wrong person to ask, because I have a Malden I D-ringed. I D-ringed a Filofax Domino. I'm not a ring person. It gets in my way. I don't like the feel of it. I'm a textile. I like texture and stuff. That's just, size matters. It does. And it drives you, yeah. You get comfortable in a planner size, and then the season changes, and it's time to size down or up. Yes. And if this goes like I think it's going to go, hopefully if my daughter does get this job and it does become permanent, we'll see. But I'll be watching my grandkids 2 times a week at least. So that means not only am I going to be doing my own errands, my own doctor's appointments, and every now and again taking my mom, depending on how things go with my son and his job situation, because my mom lives out of town. She lives an hour and a half away. I'm going to be taking the babies sometimes to their appointments, if their appointments happen to be on one of the days when I'm watching them. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I've got to thinking, I'm like, okay, maybe I can either use that A6 as my everyday carry. Yeah, I know for sure I don't like rings. If I have to pull like a binder kind of ring where you push down and they open up and you can pinch yourself when you close them, no, not for me. But I want to be like in every size. I want to bullet journal in every size. I spend all day doing nothing but bullet journaling. Or I want to journal in every size, but I'd be all day journaling in every size, like sketchbook sizes and art journal sizes and text journal sizes. I love them all. So what I've decided, I decided this months ago, thanks to Miss Vicky B, is that I can go in and out of things. Well, I will tell you something. I've been a bound person for a long time, and I know that it's practical. I know that it's practical for rings, but there is no reason you can't tip in, washi tape in, print out, glue in something that you need, and that's what tabs and an index are for. For me, because I can't stand rings. So I have worked around, around the whole issue of being able to put things in and take things out or whatever. If it's something I don't want in my journal anymore, I just cover it up with something else. Instead of ripping it out, I just cover it up with something else. But, anyway, Planning, though, I know what my system is. So it doesn't matter what I'm in as far as a planner goes. You tried to get rid of every size and only keep one, but then you bought them all back again. So it is your fault a bit. I bought that beautiful Filofax crock because of you. Aw. Repurposed books is a great thing I learned from Miss Vicky B. Yes. So, like I said in the very beginning of the video, and if you missed it, I'm not so sure that this A5 is going to work for bullet journaling. It's the day-free Hobonichi, and I've set it up beautifully. And I have the half a year Stology, and it's going, that part's going really well. But I have so much space because I'm used to B6 or standard now that I'm adding art. And this is not the book I wanted to add art in. Okay? Not what I wanted to add art in. But I've been out of an A5 pretty much, except for like doing some creative journaling. Do you have a minimum number of pages in your notebook? I write a lot. I plan out coffee chats and videos and stuff in different books. So I'm never going to be one of those people who has an insert that is only going to be 40 pages. And that would last me for like 2 months. That's not me. 40 pages would be a minimum of maybe lasting me 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, 1 month. I'd do good to get it to last a 40 actual, to last me. Why not adding art to A5? Just too big. I don't mind adding the art, but I've got other notebooks for that. So then I was thinking, okay, oh yeah, I collage over stuff all the time. So what I was thinking is I'm going to try, this may be the One Book July where I try something different every week until I get to a point where I'm like, okay, and I'm not buying a bunch of stuff. I've already got some stuff, and the stuff that I ordered when it hit me and I had the aha moment before One Book July even started, I had this aha moment. But I'd already kind of planned out July and the day free Hobonichi, and I was like, I don't know that this is going to work, but I know something that will. So I contacted some people, went on Etsy, bought some stuff, then ended up in conversation, and I'm like, So with other people, I was like all over the place thinking, and then I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay if I switch things around. If this whole A5 setup ends up a project planner, then that's okay. If what I've found to be my true joy for bullet journaling is a standard, then hey, because that can be an everyday carry. I could throw that in my purse. Exactly. This is why we do One Book July, to explore what's working and what's not working. No spending One Book July broke that today. It is a plan. See, what I'm thinking, because I can use the little A6, I have my little calendar set up. I've got a calendar set up in every damn thing. You hear me? Every damn thing I have a calendar set up, because chances are, if I go somewhere or I end up doing something, I can use that, and I know that I've got this appointment. That's my system. My main planning system is the calendar. Anything that's an important thing, a birthday, anniversary, an event, an appointment, anything that is time sensitive goes on a calendar. You like the smaller number of pages. You go through a book in a month or two, but you like to change things so you're not committed. So what I've decided, like I said, I'm going to give the A5 one whole week. But I need something that is more of a grand central station where no matter what I do, I won't forget about this bill, or that this automatic payment's going to come out, or that Victor has this appointment, and if Maria has to work, if she gets this job, I may have to take him. The other day I watched the baby. I watched the baby for Maria to take Victor to the dentist and the orthodontist yesterday morning. Yeah, Rose said in the very beginning of One Book July, if you have a system, it can work in any book or size. Yeah, I have to have a calendar and everything. So that's my main system. I can write a to-do list down in a post-it note and put it wherever I want, and then change that and put it somewhere else later. Clutterize. So if you think about, like, I want to improve my system for everything, not just my planning system. I want to improve my journal system. I want to improve my art journaling. I want to improve my writing. I want to improve how I handle projects. I want to improve my sketchbook. I want to start a damn sketchbook and see it all the way through to the whole damn end. I don't mind with the journals because I go back and forth with journals, but I really want to start a sketchbook and have it be a real sketchbook. And after watching Road today, and I'm like, I don't mind if things are in my sketchbook and it's not perfect. If I'm practicing and planning out and doing that kind of stuff, I don't mind. So before I got going in the sketchbook, I was like, you know what? The one sketchbook, that's for my planning of that, the creative journal book. I am organized chaos. Yes, that's me. That's me. That's me. I call it creative chaos. And A5 or B6. You do have a pocket for grocery list. Well, see, that's what I plan on doing my A6 for. I plan on writing my grocery list in my A6. But I have the calendar in there with appointments set up. If I'm out and about, I've got a pen that's waterproof in my purse that goes with that. And I can sketch. And then I can watercolor later. I actually created a small palette so I could actually do it, have a little water brush with me, and have my waterproof pen and my little A6, and I could do some sketching if I wanted to. So that's what I'm thinking is I'm going to concentrate on the various areas that I really want to improve upon, that I want to organize, no matter how cluttered it is, no matter how imperfect it is, no matter how creative and all over the place I am. I need for my systems to work, and no matter what I'm in, whether it's journaling, art journaling, document my day, illustrate my day, sketching, commonplace journaling, bullet journaling, planning, whatever it is, I want it to be able to work no matter what I'm in. I need to sell those little palettes. If I could, I ordered this from Amazon, and it came with these really cheap watercolors that cracked. I have the video. I was editing it, and then our power went out yesterday evening before I could turn my computer off, because I had 3/4 of it edited. All I had to do was add the last little, like, 8 minutes worth of voiceover. And I use Adobe Premiere Elements on my Windows computer. So it got time. David got home, and I went to do a quick dinner. And right after we ate, the power flickered. It did that whole power surge thing because of the storms. So my computer shut down. And I don't know why, but for some reason, my Adobe Premiere Elements does not save it like it should. Like Movie Maker saves shit. It will ask you if you want to restore project. And Movie Maker, they quit doing anything with like years ago. Movie Maker to me works better than damn Adobe Premiere Elements. It just doesn't have as much stuff. Which is why I'll be so glad to be able to learn iMovie, and you'd buy that. Now I love these. They have the bijou box that you can actually order from Whiskey Paint, which I'm going to review. And I'm going to finish my video of this before I completely turn over everything to iMac, because it's saved to Windows. To this, I just got to edit it. It's a like 3-hour video, so I've got to go through and redo the whole video to edit it. So I'm going to compare this, which I took the paints out of and then refilled with Daniel Smith, because I'm going to give this one to my daughter. And then we'll see what the Whiskey Paint, if it's really worth twice as much money when you could just take out the cheap paints and put in your own paints. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, journaling, planning, bullet journaling, illustrate my day, commonplace journaling. Do I need everything separate? No, I don't think I need everything separate. Do I want something separated? Yes. Do I need some kind of grand central station where everything sort of works together and no matter what else I'm in, I can do whatever it is I'm doing? Yes. So my goal has changed, and for One Book July, that's my goal. I'm picking and mixing. I am literally picking and mixing. I'm going to do a creative journal. I'm going to do a creative, like I'm doing a project. I'm figuring out how to better organize and plan projects. I'm figuring out, I'm really truly figuring out my size now. And it's not because of the size of my handwriting anymore. It's not because I was just used to A5 kind of journals. It's not. Thank you. It's, you know, it to me now, because I like to switch things up. So I don't want it to be about the size anymore, because eventually I will probably want to go back to an A5 for a bullet journal if it doesn't work this week. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'll have enough journals and enough traveler's notebooks and enough paper I can make my own damn inserts. They just never come out as good as Breeze. But they don't have to be perfect. They just have to work, right? So I mean, the whole point of One Book July for me is going to be picking and mixing. It's going to be figuring out, picking things, mixing things up until I get to a point where I'm like, okay, this feels like the sweet spot for now. For now. Because it's always for now for me, because I do like to switch things up. And it does sometimes depend on the season. It does sometimes depend on how busy my life is. It does sometimes depend on whether we have pandemics going on around us. You know, it depends on a lot of different things. A5 and standard are, to me, seem to be the most universal. B6 has come a long way. When I first started using a B6, you couldn't find them anywhere. I think Miss Vicky B did a video a long time ago with B6s, and she was talking about how sometimes it was hard back in the day, in the beginning, to find inserts and stuff that were in B6. Now a lot of people they've got the Stology and different things. There's actually somebody who's even come out with a B6 with Tomoe River paper a couple of different places, which I'm actually oh my god, the thought of not having to have a Nanami Cafe notebook or a Enigma or a Breeze from Taroko Design, having to go to Staples and having them cut down to B6, that's just like so wonderful. Getting inserts or not, you know, like I can go on Etsy and I can put in B6 insert Tomoe River paper, and then you get things and you're like, oh shit. I found some online that had like beautiful artwork on the front of them. I was like, hell yeah, that's it. I want those, you know, because I use things for different purposes, and not everybody does the same thing. I like the Stology, but I am a Tomoe River paper person. I'm always going to prefer Tomoe River paper over Stology paper. It's just me. And I like the Stology though, especially like for what I have this for back here, which is not really art so much as it's just doing planning. I mean, I did collage some stuff, you know. Yeah, all the new sizes falling off the trend and then being able to find them in the future. Yeah. That's why, like, for a long time it was, when I first started using A5s, everybody was in a standard or the Passport, or the Field Notes, or whatever that Traveler's Notebook original size, the small one is. I think that might be, is that Passport? But those were the two main sizes for Traveler's Notebooks. And the more A5 got more and more popular, and the more it got popular, the easier it was to find. But when I first set up my A5 Writer's Bible, That video, I went to Michael's and got some Fabriano inserts. I went to TJ Maxx and found, I happened to be in TJ Maxx and looked in their stationery part, and they had some inserts, and they were lined inserts, and they happened to be they happened to actually be A5 size. So I was like super excited, you know, passport. So 5x7 is the size that's been out in the journaling community for a long time. It's just not necessarily in the traveler's notebook community. But B6 is actually, it's 5x7, and it's right around, some of them are a tiny bit littler than a 5x7. They're like 4 3/4 or 4.5 by like 6 3/4 or 6.5, which is pretty much a B6. The one that I thought that would eventually go away was the Personal, and the Personal evolved into the B6 Slim. A5 Slim is pretty much a wide or a Midori Kahir size. I mean, but that's my whole point, is I want to be able to use my system in whatever size and be happy with it. And maybe in the wintertime when I'm doing all this Christmas shit, and we're going places and we're traveling more, I might need A5 for Thanksgiving and Christmas and January, because you're doing all this stuff for the new year. And then maybe in the summertime when we're vacationing or whatever, and I'm spending more time with the kids because they're out of school, I might need an A5. But the rest of the year, I'd be fine with my B6 and my standard or whatever. You know, I want to be able to use my system. It shouldn't be about the size anymore for me now. I want it to be about my system. So this week, I'm going to do the whole week. I'm going to do at least 7 days in the A5. I started this on Monday, but Monday and Tuesday were really the practice thing. But I'm going to do that. I do, but I don't. Like, I mean, if I look at mine, I move them. I like seeing them on other people's shelves. And I would have loved to see them on my shelf. But when I look at my bookcase with my actual books in it from those books aren't the same size. You know, I've got almost every Stephen King book that he's got, and they're all different sizes. And I'm thinking, well, my books don't have to be the same size. And that's what I just keep telling myself, is if I let my OCD rule me, then am I going to chunk my journals away that are different sizes because I used to be in this size and now I've switched to this size? Because I used to journal in composition notebooks for a long time when I just did text journaling, and I added everyday ephemera, sort of a I added everyday ephemera and pictures, and I would sometimes doodle, but I didn't add any art, like watercolor, any wet media to my pages for years and years and years. I just did regular journaling to me. You know, I added pictures and receipts and stubs and things, like if I went to a concert, or like when David and I went to Medieval Times, or, you know, whatever. You have to line your books from small to large. Yeah, I just line mine up. I don't know what the by color is, but a lot of people do that. Mine are just all over the place right now, but as I go through my closet and clean stuff out and look to find my journals that are completed, and the ones that still have paper in them, then I'm going to rearrange some things. Now, I will say I have like 4 or 5 B6, some are thicker than others, from Brie that are completely filled, and they look so great on the shelf together. They really do look so great on the shelf together. It's called Awesome. Yeah, it is called Awesome. I don't like my reading books, my books arranged by color, though. Composition notebooks. That was me before I found the planner community. I pretty much did all of it in a lined composition book. That's how I journaled. And what I did for my planning, I had my little pocket calendar, and I had a steno book that had the spiral up at the top, but I didn't like it. And I realized that the paper that I used for school in composition books, and that my kids were using in composition books, was pretty much the exact same paper as in the steno notebooks. And so I just switched back to composition notebooks for like my to-do list and or post-it notes. And that was how I planned. I had my little pocket calendar and my composition notebook. And I wrote all my journaling stuff, you know, and I had post-it notes or just a piece of paper, and then I would tape it in or just fold it and stick it in my actual journal if it was something I needed to look at later to make sure I did everything. The simple times, yeah. So, One Book July, since it is pick and mix and that we have all these different things, I'm thinking I might actually take 1 week of this and do one book, one pen, one watercolor palette, or one book, like one traveler's notebook, and then one like pencil bag, or a little bag that has art and pencil pens kind of stuff in it. And that might be, you know, like what would be a travel thing. Still like your TNs and the new things we get. You know, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like some things. So I thought, well, I can mix this up. I can pick the things. And what I'm going to do is, after the first week, what is not working or what I don't like, put that to the side and switch to the something else. You know, what I think I might like more. But another thing I've noticed, and this happens to me a lot, what I want to do stuff in is not necessarily what I need. Sometimes what I want and what I need are not the same thing. Like I want my pages to be like this in my bullet journal, or I want, like, I'm a cross between that super minimalist and the super, super creative, messy, you know, creative chaos. You know, it's like some days I'm all about it being minimal and, you know, very, and then the next day I'm all about it being like, I want watercolor everywhere. I'm gonna have to take an allergy pill. Or I want washi tape everywhere. You know, there's some things I can live with and some things I can't live without, you know. And I don't think I could live without watercolors and washi tape. You know, I mean, and I think that's what I'm doing. What my big goal for One Book July is to just kind of have fun with it. Because it needs to be fun, or you're not going to enjoy it. There's no point in doing things if it's not going to be fun. But to really start thinking about, while I'm doing what I'm doing for this week, is this something I like? Is it working for me? Is this something that I need? Is it helping me? Is it really helping me? Or am I doing it because I happen to want to be in a Hobonichi Day free because I absolutely love Hobonichi shit? You know? Yeah, it depends. So, you know, that's where I'm at, you know. I don't, and I'm also writing. It's Camp NaNoWriMo, and I have 40,000 words to get through this month, and I'm not going to get through it if I am trying to do too much, you know, and everything else. So that's why I'm actually going to be writing on my laptop is over there. It's actually got a NaNoWriMo sticker on it, and it's old. It's like, I don't know, 6 years old, but it works. It's got Scrivener on it. It's all set up, you know. I think sometimes we actually have to pick and choose where we spend our time, what our priorities are when we're creative, you know. Because if you're anything like me and you dabble into more than one thing, you don't always have time to do all of the things. And I want to do all of the things. I want to read books. I want to write books. I want to draw. I want to sketch. I want to watercolor. I want to DIY. And I'm filming a lot of all of that, and it all takes time, you know. Writing a book takes time. When you are actually trying to practice and learn how to draw better and to watercolor better, that takes time. You have to practice. If you don't practice, you don't get any better. Writing's the same way. If you don't write, you don't get any better. If I don't read, I don't have like a quiet, restful time. Reading is my unwind time. You only did 25,000. I might actually switch my word count now that I'm thinking about it. Because I put 40,000 and I'm thinking there is no way, because there's quite a few days this month where I'm not going to be able to write, and I had set it up at 40,000 instead of 50,000. And I was like, why? Yeah. I'm like, So I'm like, if I'm going to change it, I need to go ahead and change it on the first day, because I don't want to do this and go, well, I changed my word count because I got behind. I want to actually change my word count because I realized that's not a realistic goal, you know? So, and, so I'm excited though, because it's all the things I love is what this, except for the digital planning. This whole One Book July is about all the things I love. Like, I'm not interested in digital planning, but I am interested in learning digital art. Like, how to take the things that I create and make them into, say, PDFs for people that wanted to print them as stickers for Patreon. You know, like, right now, if I do it, you get, and I can draw them in smaller and bigger sizes and do the same thing over and over again. Or you can print it and minimize it or maximize it or whatever, but my patrons have to do that themselves, because I don't know how to use Adobe Photoshop. I don't have Adobe Photoshop. You better preach, Burgess. You know, I don't know. I think I'm gonna prioritize my time this month. But the big goal is to have better systems, have a better system for everything. Yeah, for everything. Because the planning thing, I know what my system is with that. It's just, where do I want to do that planning, you know? So, yeah, too many things, and exactly. Yeah, I could do that, Sylvia. Are you in a cabin? Or are you just doing it on your own? Cabins distract me. I like the cabin for the social aspect, and if I didn't do anything but write, it would be fine, but I can't do the cabin thing. It's too distracting. That time that I'm spending in the conversation, like and checking on the cabin and checking if anybody's wrote, that's time I could spend writing, or time I could be spending editing or something. You know. So I think instead of trying to do all of the things every week for One Book July, I'm going to pick a week and focus on my top 3 priorities, and then the next week I'm going to change things around, and then it'll be some of those priorities might stay the same every week, like with Camp NaNoWriMo. You know, that writing is going to be my priority every week. I want a certain amount of words to have written for that week. I want to create art in some way every day. It may not be a finished piece, but I want to be working on art every day. So those are the 2 things. And the organization thing will come and go, like, depending, because I can write a to-do list. That's not a big deal. But the project planning and stuff, I'm going to be intermingling, you know, so I can figure out how to do. You have a Facebook group. Okay. Yeah, the website is a nightmare. So, you know, y'all just let me know. There, I just added you as a moderator. You know, it's I think we get to a point sometimes when we're creative, because we do want to do all of the things, that we think we have to do them all in one day. And we don't have to do them all in one day. You know, or we want to do all of the journaling, and or all of the planning, or all of the art, and we don't have to do it in one, we don't have to do it in every size every day. You know, it can be, we can adjust things. We can adjust things. So, that's where I'm at. I'm so excited. I don't even know how long I've been on here, but, oh my God. Have I really been on here for 2 hours, y'all? Or has it been over an hour? I think it's 2 hours. An hour? I don't know. However long I've been on here, I've been on here an hour. Okay, I was about to say, what in the hell? I know it hadn't been 2 hours. It's only 4:12. So, does anybody have any questions? I'm still figuring out how I'm going to do this. So, I'm going to do a few things, and, so this week is all jacked because I'm actually supposed to be doing videos for YouTube on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I'm kind of, this is, with it being One Book July and it being Camp NaNoWriMo and everything, I kind of, it's been, you know, I'm a little bit off. But I'm going to try to get a video up Saturday where I did the watercolors, you know, where I showed that stuff. And then I'll go live again on next Tuesday. I may or may not do a live video Friday. We'll see how things go because of the weather and everything else, because like I said, we have been having storms here every afternoon. Sometimes we try to convince ourselves that we don't have to choose, but choosing gives us the freedom we think we are losing by choosing. Yes. Yes. So, I'm pretty excited about all of it. I'm a little nervous. But I think overall, once I made the decision to try, to pick and mix, to mix it up, so that it's not about, you know, it's not about changing necessarily because I couldn't make it work. It's about choosing not to continue in something that isn't working, if that makes sense. I don't want to just make something work, even if it's not making me happy or it's not actually working well for me. So, thanks, Sylvia. I hope that makes sense. Does anybody have any questions? What do you write? I write a little bit of everything. I'll answer that in a minute. I write a little bit of everything, fiction and non-fiction. I think once I quit pressuring myself, like with Camp NaNoWriMo and with NaNoWriMo, to, like, I love watching the videos that people make, and I like doing some of the lives. Like, I really miss doing the live chats with Tamara Woods from Pen Paper Pad. And I miss that part, but like trying to be in a cabin, last camp I didn't even win. I didn't write enough. I think I wrote really close, or I did make my goal, but I never put it in the website, so it doesn't say I won. I can't remember now. But, and I think in November, I'm not sure if I even won or not. You know? But, thank you. I'm glad, Pam. I'm glad. One of the big things, Ro did a video on it. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. But she even said, she did a whole video because people were making videos, me included, in the beginning, talking about the rules. But there's no rules. You know, there are no rules to One Book July. Rose said, I think in that video, just have fun. You know, you don't have to, you know. But what works for one person, what worked for me in the beginning for NaNoWriMo and for Camp NaNoWriMos was the social and the community and stuff. But I wasn't as busy then. I didn't have the grandbabies like I do. You know, I didn't have the responsibility that, you know, I have. Like, we're really busy we're doing a lot of house stuff. We're doing a lot of DIY stuff to the house. I wasn't on Patreon. You know, there's a lot, I didn't have as much responsibility, so I was more social. And now I have to pick and choose. And there's no hardcore rule that says it's Camp NaNoWriMo, you have to be in a camp. You can have your own little camp. And I remember one year, Persephone or somebody, there were quite a few people, they created their own little tents, like either in their writing space or in their living room or their dining room or whatever. They actually created like a little tent kind of thing to go in with their laptops and to write. And, you know, so it felt more like being at camp. It's for camp, it's for the writers table, the writers group. Gotta have rules. One book, one pen, and then I failed only to understand the point. Now I look, yeah, and what I think they were saying in the very beginning is that all you really need is one book, one pen, you know, and that you could actually do it all with a book and a pen. You know, that you don't need all the stickers and you don't need all the fancy stuff. You don't need, it wasn't that you couldn't have, it was that you don't need it. And a lot of people wanted to sort of test themselves. Do I actually need all this other stuff, or can I do one book, one pen? You know, Carrie realized very soon on that one pen wasn't going to work for her because she color coded and she used her pens to color code. I think she had like a Coletto. And she went back to her Coletto with her colors. You know, I mean, it is about making it work for you. What do I really need? So if I'm trying the one book and the one little pouch, which I've tried before, so that may be what I do, you know, for 1 week. I'm going to have that one book, and that one pouch, or, you know, maybe I'll use my little knapsack, my art travel bag. It's that Cancan, it's the small one, and maybe that, whatever will fit in there for that 1 week, that's all I'm going to use, is whatever will fit in that for 1 week, you know. So that's the thing. I am going to, once this, I've got to get the links for the One Book July YouTube playlist, and Rose channel, and Miss Vicky B's channel, and Carrie Harling's channel, and Mimi's channel. Everyday Awesome TV is her name now. And I'll put those in the description once we're out of here, and I can actually go back in. It's going to take a while for it to process, unfortunately, but I should be able to change the description, and well, I should actually be able to add that to the description without any problems. So for those of you who need it, I don't have it right offhand, or I'd put it in the chat, but there is, you can just put in YouTube search, you can put in One Book July 2020, and it will give you this stuff for this year, as well as some of the stuff from last year, the year before, whatever. It depends on what the recommendations are doing for Google search, YouTube search stuff. The more that you like a video, if you watch a video all the way through, the more people that like said video, and the more people that comment, the more the analytics will end up working for that video, that channel, to be recommended to other people. So if a lot of people are using the hashtag OneBookJuly 2020, or they're using the phrase OneBookJuly 2020, the more those videos will pop up if you just put in OneBookJuly or OneBookJuly 2020. You know what I'm saying? So it works the same. The analytics kind of works the same regardless, but the more you do videos about a certain topic, the more it's going to get recommended when you're on somebody else's video, when you're watching somebody else's video and they happen to have a similar channel, or they do similar things, their tags are similar. And that's, I think, most YouTubers' goal, is to get their analytics to the point where their videos pop up in the recommendations for the people who watch the same kind of videos that they make. So that's why I mean, the trolls, the dislikes don't bother me. It's sometimes people make some really nasty, rude, crude comments, and luckily enough, most of the time YouTube has actually caught it under the review thing, and then I have to go in and read the comment and either delete it or say it's spam or whatever. So I've been really lucky for the most part with some of that. But yeah, so if nobody's got any questions or anything, I'm going to get off of here, and I'm going to add that stuff into the description and make sure everybody's got the stuff for One Book July. I am so happy. I feel much better about deciding to do that, to make my priorities the real part of One Book July. And I hope I'm going to get a lot of, I think, from it. I think it's going to actually help all of my systems, not just a system, not just the planning. So y'all have a great evening, or a great day, or a great morning, or a great whatever when you're watching this, if you're watching this in the replay, or 3 months down the road or whatever. So I thank you so much for being here, y'all, and thank you for the super chat. I really appreciated that. I'm feeling pretty good about One Book July now. Now that I've said nope. Remember, Burgess, there's no rules. There's no rules. So you use TubeBuddy and vidIQ to help with videos. I use those too. I use TubeBuddy, vidIQ a little bit. Y'all have a great one. Bye, y'all.